1, 2, 3, 4. Chop, chop, chop.
It's Cure of the What Now.
Gather the ingredients.
Cure of the What Now.
Not much time to prep before it's time to start the show.
Oh.
Guests are arriving.
Cure of the What Now.
Everybody's smiling.
Cure of the What Now.
A tasty party starting. Now it's time to go. Woo!
Ooh. Served hot and fresh.
Itadakimasu. Hello, fellow simps, and welcome to episode 6 of season 2 of...
Bum, Cure of the What Now, huh?
Interesting intro. It's the one show where we know it's fine if the villainess turns into a clone of your mom, because then you got two moms.
Plus, those sweet, sweet daddy kisses might turn the villainess to the side of good.
Anyway, let's go to Jupiter with the weather.
Jupiter is currently panting on my leg, but she's assuring me that she's having a good time.
It's sleepy with a chance of wiggles.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm your host, Kat, and I am definitely your ally friend. Just give me your transformation items. I need them. I need to take them and go. But we're friends.
This definitely isn't a trap. Don't worry about it. I'm your co-host, Joel, and I'm the secret fifth member of Ouji's band of friends. I wasn't in the earlier part of the episode, but when I show up at the end of the episode, Kanade will be like, yeah, he's one of them.
I really thought that was like a trick by the minor trio or something. Who is this man?
Absolutely.
Joel, do you have a discussion question for us this week?
I do, but before we get into this week's discussion question, as you all know from last episode, we got a suggestion from one of our fans to discuss a PreCure season in a small local government. And after James, that one welder guy, listened to the episode, he brought up further discussion questions.
Thanks, James.
So James was saying that community focus is great, but what about the sanitation department? And he suggested cure plate, cure paper, cure glass, or cure plastics, cure paper, cure glass. I went in a different direction for sanitation department, and so I was like, oh, what if we had cured poop or something? Or what if the problem they had to solve was a clog in the town's waste delivery system or something like that?
So that season that we proposed was all about community service, right? Yeah. So I really like the idea of an orange cure. I don't know why it would be orange, but I feel in my gut that sanitation is the orange cure's domain. But an orange cure who's really passionate about sanitation. Everyone's like, isn't that job kind of gross? And she's like, no, it's so important. We're keeping the city clean so everyone can enjoy it together.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was part of the discussion, and then my brain a light bulb went off over my head like I was a cartoon character, and I went, oh, what about someone who's super into environmentalism, and she's one of the rare green cures? That'd be really cool. And I did put in parentheses, passionate but not like eco-terrorist, because my first thought was Poison Ivy, who takes it a little too far in the other direction. And James suggested, no, let her be an eco-terrorist.
Maybe she's the sixth ranger.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the point of the city if we can't all enjoy it together as friends if you use plants to destroy all the people?
Absolutely.
Does the world have a purpose if people are not here to experience and enjoy it?
Yes, because dogs would still exist.
Hell yeah, dogs get to enjoy the world. If a tree falls in the forest, a dog is there to wag their tail.
Try to pick it up, but it's too big for them. They can't wrap their puppy mouths around it.
Gigi's new thing when we go on walks, I know you all listen to this podcast because you want to know about our dogs. Gigi has started trying to pick up small trees. Like, not even joking, like giant branches that have fallen down or like saplings that have blown over. She will try to pick them up and carry them away. And she's not a large dog. She's less than 30 pounds and she's like duffel bag sized. So she should not be trying to pick up trees.
Absolutely. So you asked for a discussion question and I have one on our scratch pad that has been blanked out. I wrote it white text on a white background so you wouldn't be able to read it because I thought this would be a good secret surprise.
And I did not look at it because I am a good wife.
All right. Oh, I just realized what I'm imagining when I pitched this is something completely different than the second thought that I just had. And the second thought is you could do a crossover or you could do it in the style of another show that you and I both know from our childhoods. But PreCure secret agents. Let them dress in suits. let them have to work on, like, disguises and, like, infiltration and stuff like that, and, like, trying to find information in sneaky ways, and give them sunglasses, of course.
You know what I like about this?
What's that?
It has such great potential for... We've got this team of good guy spies, and then this counter team of bad guy spies. Like, I know that's Lupin Ranger versus Pat Ranger, but I'm obsessed with that idea.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Lupin and Pat Ranger, it's like a team of robbers and like a team of like the police. But what you just said was like spy versus spy, it sounded like. So you'd have two different teams trying to infiltrate each other and that sort of thing. I really like that. I don't want to call it MacGuffin, but the thing that both teams are after is a vault that no one has ever been able to break into. And legend tells that the original legendary PreCure left something of great importance in there. And if the bad guys can have it, it'll help them take over the world. If the good guys can get it, it'll help them thwart the evil.
Absolutely. The henshin item is called the Disguise Compact. And they do their makeup, but there's also a bit in there where they've got like a magnifying glass and they look up and they look down and then they like spin and start the transformation.
What this doesn't really fit with like the tone of PreCure that exists today, but like what if they opened the compact and like scanned their eye retinas before the henshin started?
I love that.
So like I said, what I was imagining was kind of more like a James Bond-esque, like wearing suits and being like gentleman thieves, except girls,
gentleman detective, gentleman spies.
Yeah, something like that. But then I also realized girls, bright colors, doing spy stuff, that's totally spies.
Hey, that's actually great. We could have Totally Spies again, but without all the weird fetishy stuff that was in the original show, because PreCure is wholesome.
If you're slightly older, I don't know, maybe like 15 or up, and you go back and you rewatch Totally Spies, or you see some of the clips on Twitter, there's some weird stuff in that show. I watched it when I was a kid, and I don't remember picking up on any of it, but once you get to a certain age and you look back, you're kind of like, huh, there's some stuff in here.
Man, you know what I would love? Was it Nick Doramio who did the iCarly and Victorious?
That's, what's his name? Quentin Reviews.
Quentin Reviews, if you somehow are listening to this, I would love to see you do a Totally Spies recap.
Absolutely.
I think you'd really bring the right energy to it. And to be clear, I didn't listen to either of those videos that I just mentioned because I can't do long-form YouTube videos. But Joel listened to them and he played me the good clips.
Yeah, absolutely. You know who else would bring an appropriate amount of energy to a Totally Spies review?
Mike's Mike.
CJ the X.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, CJ the X, a very energetic creator on YouTube. Absolutely in love with Miraculous Ladybug, and I cannot wait until they get 1 million subscribers and they do the video that they've promised.
Oh, yeah. They're waiting to do the Miraculous Ladybug video. I thought they had done one.
They've done one, but the title of the one that they will write later, it's going to be called Miraculous is Great and Here's Why, which is different than the other video that they created, I guess. Can you think of... Oh my gosh, what if the fairy/mascot was a penguin because it always looks like they're in suits? Or it could be a chameleon because they're good at blending in.
It could be both. Would you go with a large team or a duo for this season?
I always love a duo, but whenever we're talking about pitching a season, I always think of like a team of like 3 to 4. Not as big as the Kira team, but I don't know. This could be really good for a pair team, actually. So I'm going to say pair.
Yeah, I was thinking pair as well, because then you can get into situations where, like, one of them is in a sticky situation and the other one can, like, keep doing her mission or get her friend out.
Yeah.
Plus, our last pitch was for a large team. I feel like different motifs kind of lend themselves to... Or not motifs, different themes lend themselves better to larger or smaller teams.
Absolutely.
What would your overarching theme be?
Well, so the funny thing about a secret agent team, like the thing that makes me go, that would be great, is that it kind of is at odds with the kind of tone of other PreCure seasons. It feels like it's a little bit more like edgy and dark or whatever. And like, so I don't think this necessarily fits with other PreCure seasons, but maybe something like everyone has like a true self that they don't necessarily share with everyone or whatever. And maybe there's more going on in people's lives than it seems. So maybe there could be like a rich mean girl, the Ojo Sama kind of character, and maybe the girls are trailing her because they think that she's involved in the evil plot, and then it turns out that maybe she's like insecure or something, and they're like, oh, okay.
Man, Star Twinkle update. We haven't seen Himenojo in a while. She's the best.
She shows up in episode 25, which we will be watching next Friday.
I sure do hope that she's the sixth ranger.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be great.
But it's interesting that you would mention the idea of the true self, because I was going to suggest revealing the truth as a theme for this season. And so, yeah, I think the true self thing is a good one. No. I'm not very articulate today, am I?
That's okay. We have good days and we have bad days. Most of the time, I can't even say words right. So.
Yeah. Due to work stuff, I was up late waiting for a phone call because I was on call last night. And then my wonderful dogs decided that 7 a.m. was a good time to be screamo. So I'm a little bit tired, but that is okay. We are here to have fun and talk about PreCure.
Absolutely. And on that note, I think we're about done with the discussion question.
Yes, we are.
Okay, cool. So, we watched 4 episodes of Sweet, Sweet, Pretty Cute. And that's what we're going to be focusing on mostly today. So those were episodes 15, 16, 17, 15, 16, 17, and 18? 14, 15, 16, and 17. I'm sorry.
You can count.
21, 22, 23. Mob. But anyways, we watched 4 episodes. I just said the number of the number of the episodes that we watched.
We took a 5-minute let's use the bathroom break during the transition, and we got a little scrumbled. So we've listed the episodes we watched. Joel, can you tell me about 14 and 15?
Yeah, I was just going to say, we watched 4. We're going to discuss them 2 at a time because we feel that they kind of feed into each other in that way. So, episode 14 is more Who is Muse shenanigans. They thought that maybe Juan or the other girl, Seika, I think her name was Cure Muse. Then they thought it was Siren, but then in the last episode they discovered it was definitively not Siren, so now they're back on the let's figure out who it is.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes.
Did we accidentally watch an extra episode?
No. Why?
Because... Okay, I'm on track now. I understand what's happening.
It's okay.
I got scrumbled.
I'm gonna de-scrumble you.
Okay, de-scrumble me. Let's go.
Also, in the scratch pad, if you look at the sweet corner, I actually listed what each episode was about, so you can double check.
The only sweet corner I'm interested in is a piece of candy corn.
Oh, okay. Now listen.
Listening.
Okay, we are gonna focus. We're gonna redirect our energy. More Who is Muse shenanigans. Kanade is pretty sure that it's Ouji, which is great because boys can be PreCure, right? But it's also because she's just crushing on Ouji-sama. She asks him if he's Muse, and he's like, what is Muse? And she's like, well, can't it be both? And she gets really embarrassed and she realizes that's not it. Hibiki goes into a random classroom and just shouts, hey, Muse! And everyone turns. She goes, oh my god, Muse is all of them. Muse is a hive mind. And then Kanade goes, no, you idiot.
They're looking at you because you yelled something random into a classroom.
Yes. They break into the PA system to say, like, hey, Cure Muse, we'll be waiting for you after school. And it kind of sounded to me like, I want to confess my feelings to you, and I think maybe that's how other people read it as well. But it's not explicitly stated by the characters. But at the end of the episode, Siren also pretends to be Muse, like transforms into the proper Cure Muse and approaches Hami, and then duct tapes Hami to a rock, and then sends some of the fairy tones to tell Hibiki and Kanade that a negatone is attacking, and when they show up, she's Cure Muse, and she goes, look, listen, I'm sorry that I didn't talk to you before, I didn't trust you, but now I do trust you. I need your transformation items. And they're like, okay, we trust you implicitly because you're Cure Muse and we've never met anyone who could shapeshift or trick us in this way. So they give her transformation items, and then she chucks them into the ocean because, surprise, it wasn't actually Cure Muse.
Ah, beans.
She is going to banish them to Minor Land, which I'd actually be really interested to see, like, what humans who can't transform would do in Minor Land. But we don't get that because the real Cure Muse shows up. First, she stands up because, well, the real Cure Muse, please stand up.
Oh,
and
Lord.
then she shows up, she saves them, they transform, they beat the bad guy. Great. Episode 15, it's Oji-sama's birthday. Kanade wants to throw him a party at the Lucky Spoon.
His friends want to throw him a party, and Kanade's like, heck yes, let's do it.
Kanade wants to throw him a party. His friends want to throw him a party, so they decide to team up together, and Kanade's in charge of the venue and the snacks. And she thinks that if she can make a cupcake so delicious that Oji-sama will fall head over heels for her.
Didn't they literally call it, like, her spirit recipe?
I think something like that, yes. We discover why it's called the Lucky Spoon. It's the Kira-Kira-Ru, basically. 7 seasons before we had Kira-Kira-Ru, she's going to put all of her feeling into this spoon, and it's going to bring good fortune to anyone who eats with the Lucky Spoon. Siren is up to more shenanigans. She pretended that she hurt her leg, and she's like, oh, could you please carry me? Because Oji is such a great, benevolent character, and so he carries her, but then she uses hypnosis on him to make him fall asleep. But he falls on top of her, and Kanade shows up right at that moment, and she thinks it's... They don't explicitly state it, but it's kind of like, I walked in on you doing something weird with Oji, and I'm embarrassed. And Siren's like, oh my god, I was around a cute boy, I'm embarrassed. And so they yell at each other. Then the fight happens. The Negatone is the unlucky spoon, which has the power to make things unlucky, so they trip on banana peels. A plastic bag viciously attacks Kanade's face at one point, but they decide that their willpower is enough to overpower the bad luck, and then they save the day, and Oji-sama goes to the party. The only last thing of note is that Sota had given away half of the giant cupcake tower that Kanade had made for Oji, and you think that she's going to yell at him. Akko is tense, Sota is tense, Hibiki is tense, and Kanade is just like, oh, you fed the guest, that was very sweet of you. So they are in fact growing closer as brother and sister, and that was cute. And that's where the episode ends. Also, Oji has a piece of one of Kanade's cupcakes, and he's like, wow, you really put a lot of care into making this. And she's like, yes.
Yeah, she's like, I made you a whole tower, but it got messed up. And he's like, I'm just happy to see all my friends enjoying cupcakes together. So Oji is a cinnamon bun.
He really is. And
I love, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I love the reveal that he can't walk by someone who needs help and not help. He has to. When he doesn't show up, his friends are like, did he get lost? Did he get lost trying to help a lost dog again?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I was going to say is, this episode about Oji-sama did more to characterize him than Fuji P from Futari Wa, right? It was an episode about the love interest who I would argue didn't really have much of a character before this, other than, he said that music helps bring people closer together or whatever, but he had an episode that was about him. It developed him as a kind and caring person, and that is part of why everyone loves him so much, and it's great. I liked it.
Absolutely. You know what I realized this episode?
Okay.
Luck is an ongoing theme in this show. Siren is a black cat, and she's evil. Black cats are associated with, bad luck. Hummy is a white cat, and her catchphrase, the thing she says all the time that I didn't notice until episode 15, was lucky!
Yes, absolutely. I can't remember if we brought this up last episode or not, but in one of the episodes, the one with the kindergartners and Hibiki was pretending to be a gorilla, she, in that episode twice, said that she was going to bet her pride as a woman on it. And what Kat and I didn't realize is that this is a catchphrase that she uses somewhat regularly. I thought I'd remembered it from one earlier episode, but she apparently uses it quite a bit. So on the tangent, on the subject of catchphrases, she has one too, and Hummy's is lucky. So.
Absolutely. Did you like these 2 episodes?
I did. I liked that these 2 girls, we've pointed it out before, but they're dumbasses in their own cute way. They try to figure out who Cure Muse is, and Kanade can't look past her lust for this perfect boy. And Hibiki is like, I'm just gonna shout a random word in random directions and see what happens and see what works.
Absolutely. I really like Siren getting scooped up by Oji and being like, nyeh.
Yes, absolutely.
At her core, she is just a girl who wants to be held by a handsome boy.
Yeah, absolutely. Or at the very end of the episode, so she, like I said, she kind of has hypnosis powers, I guess, that she uses to make Oji kind of fall asleep. After the unlucky spoon Negatone is defeated, he wakes up, and he sees that Siren, who's now in her human form, is walking fine, even though she said that her leg was hurt. And he's like, you said that your leg was hurt, and she is like ready for him to like get mad at her for lying, and all he says is, that's great. And she gets so flustered she literally runs away from the boy. So the power of horniness can turn this black cat to the side of good. I bet Oji-sama has those good daddy kisses we were talking about earlier in the episode. And when I say we, I mean I.
I'm canceling you. You're canceled.
You don't think that your daddy loves your mommy very much?
I'm canceling you.
I think that my daddy loved my mommy very much, so, you know.
Weird how someone who is canceled can still talk. No, I really like the use of Siren's transformation powers.
Absolutely.
To cause mischief. And I just like Siren. Like, I feel like she's really stepped up her goonery.
Absolutely.
So that's a good time. And I like that she and Bass Drum have an alliance now. She tells him, we're evil's best friends.
Yeah.
And, like, she's still obsessed with the concept of best friends.
She absolutely is. They also, I believe it was the Oji-sama birthday episode where she's spying and she's getting really upset. She's like, oh, why am I so angry? And the minor trio are like, well, that's because you're jealous. And she's like, it is, screw you. No, it isn't. Like, this is someone who doesn't, she needs therapy is what she needs. She needs to go to someone who can talk about her feelings and realize the trauma that she's buried deep in her heart.
Yes, exactly. Siren is toxic AF, and she needs therapy to be less toxic. One of the best parts of the Oji episode was Kanade thinks that Oji might have a girlfriend, and she decides to give up. She's not going to bake him cupcakes, and she's not going to set up for the party. And Hibiki says, was your wish for happiness really that weak?
That was a fascinating episode. We see Kanade truly crumple up in that episode. She has her face buried in her pillow, and Hami's like, do you want to touch the toe beans, the cat paw? And she doesn't respond. And like, oh my god, even the cat paw won't work. But Hibiki saying, you know, was your wish for his happiness that week, and that kind of snaps her out of it. What is great is that at the end of the episode, you find out that I think he referred to her. It was either Hime or Princess. Hime means princess, but he was referring to his princess. And it turns out he got a puppy and she wasn't feeling very well, but now she's feeling better, so he's all back to positive spirits. His love for animals and others is so strong that he was depressed because his dog had a limp. What a precious boy.
What a precious boy. I love that his name is Prince and he named his dog Princess.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
super cute. I also love that he got this little, like, puffball tiny dog.
Yes.
There is no toxic masculinity in PreCure, only regular, wholesome masculinity.
We get introduced to his friends, and two of them have names like Bishop and Rook or something like that. And the first one had a name that didn't fit with the English lexicon because the other two were very clearly words that we recognize as English speakers. And the third one was like Fukuboda or something like that. But Kanade or Hibiki makes a comment about, like, of course they would have names like that. So I guess it probably is like another chess piece or another kind of rank. You know, you have the prince, you have the baron, you have the...
They all are ranks of some sort or another. So that was kind of cool. I think it's funny that these four guys with royal sounding names were like, let's be in a band together and call it the Princes.
Absolutely.
Like, do you think they did it just because of their names, or do you think that they made friends first and then wanted to make a band and they were like, well, we could go with the theme that seems to tie us together somehow?
I think they met each other, and then it's just coincidentally that their names happen to lead into a good band name.
All right.
I do want to point out at the end of episode 15, so the last couple of episodes, Hami, after purifying the notes and it goes inside of the jewel tone, she'll pick up the jewel tone and look inside, and it'll show a bunch of notes floating around, and she's been saying, wow, we've sure gotten a lot of notes. But in episode 15, and for the next 3 episodes after 16 and 17, she starts saying, the melody of happiness will be finished soon. So usually something happens around the mid-season point. That's usually when you get an official new member of the team. Sometimes the bad guys get stronger and that sort of thing. So I think that's coming up. They're starting to prepare for that mid-season shift.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think probably, episode 21, 22 is where everything will really go down.
Here's hoping. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to move on to the next 2 episodes, or do you have anything else you want to say about these?
No, I think that about wraps it up. So, moving on to 16 and 17. So, Sweet, episode 16 is basically Freaky Friday. Not exactly, but that's the easiest way for me to remember it. At the beginning of the episode, Siren is trying to drive a wedge between these 2 girls because she's Team Rocket. She only has the one objective, capture Pikachu and or break up these 2 girls who have harmony power.
I'm not nice, Skullmaster, or whatever his name was.
Skeletor!
Oh, yeah!
But anyway.
Skeletor is handsome. Anyway.
In a skeleton kind of way, I guess he is. But, so Siren pretends to be Kanade and gets mad at Hibiki. And then when Hibiki and Kanade see each other, Hibiki's like, man, you're mean. And Kanade's like, what? I'm not mean. And these 2 girls just don't realize that shapeshiftery might be about, which, girls, you really need to figure this out pretty quickly. You got tricked by a fake Cure Muse. So maybe it's time that you start suspecting, come up with a catchphrase you say to each other or something. But anyways, Hami is like, you 2 need to learn to get along. What if you swapped places? What if Kanade went to go live with Hibiki's family, Hibiki's dad? And what if Hibiki went to go live with Kanade's brother and her parents? And you could maybe learn more about each other, kind of a situation like that. And it's a pretty interesting episode, and they do learn more about each other. Hibiki learns that Kanade is very detail-oriented, and she works very hard. And Kanade learns that Hibiki is lonely, essentially. She only has her dad, and the dad is constantly leaving to do music-related things. And so Hibiki often eats dinner alone. Hami's there, but, it's not quite the same as a family member being
Plus,
there.
Hami kind of eats
really fast
when she feels like it. She
absolutely.
Doesn't wait for, because she's a cat, right?
Yeah, I think there's one part where Kanade says something about wow, she must be lonely, and Hami's like, she has me, but Hami again doesn't quite count, but does count a little bit better than just being completely alone. So Kanade is like, you know what? I'm gonna reach out to Hibiki's mom and talk to her about this recital we have going up. By the way, they were voted best friends in their class, and so they're gonna perform a friendship recital.
A friendship duet at their award ceremony.
And then afterwards, maybe they'll kiss. But anyway.
Stop projecting onto this innocent show.
So Kanade reaches out to Hibiki's mom and is like, hey, Hibiki's got this concert thing coming up. It might be cool if you came. Siren hears this and she goes, I'm going to use more shape-shifting trickery because that's my best trick.
If all you have is a hammer, every problem looks like somebody else.
So she pretends to be Hibiki's mom and is like, Kanade hates you. You should betray her. And Hibiki's like, what? No, I trust Kanade. And she goes, but I'm your mother, so listen to me. She gets kind of stage fright. She kind of freezes up, not sure what she wants to do. But then the real Hibiki's mom, whose name is Maria, she shows up and is like, hey, do your best. And she's like, all right. Also, the negatone shows up and it's stronger this episode. Bass drum, however you pronounce his name. He and Siren have decided to team up to make their negatone stronger. So the girls try their attack. It doesn't work. And Cure Muse is clearly in the background, about to jump in, and Hibiki says, no, Kanade, we have to fight this on our own. And Cure Muse covers the mouth of her negatone so it can't talk.
Of her fairy tone.
What did I say? Oh, yeah, of her fairy tone, sorry. And the girls realize that because their Beltiers come apart and they have 2 halves, they'll swap. So basically, they'll learn from each other's strengths and they'll become stronger as a result. So now they both have 1 pink half, 1 white half, and they do a final attack. One of these days, I'm going to actually write down the name of one of these attacks that they learn at the end of an episode.
I do know that it's called Crossrod, because that's very funny.
Absolutely. Their combo attack is called Music Rondo Super Quartet. And I have a problem with that, because a quartet is 4 people, and they are 2 people.
They have 4 pieces, though.
Yeah, that's true. something makes me question if maybe the name quartet is hinting at something that might happen later in the season. That's all I'm saying, right? If I was watching this as a kid and they called it a quartet, I would definitely still have the same question, like, why? There's only 2 of them. But anyways, they use this cool new attack, it works, and then they play their duet, and everyone's like, woo, amazing. Which leads into episode 17, which is all about Hibiki spending time with Maria, her mom, who's only back for like 1 day. We've established before that Hibiki tries to be strong and mature, which is very interesting considering how sometimes goblinish she can be. But she tries to be mature and strong, and that's the reason why her mom trusts her to live alone with her dad, and like do half of the chores or whatever. So she tries to hold it all in, and the episode ends with a very sweet and a very teary, like, oh, I'm sorry, Mom, I've been holding it all in. She's like, there, I'm your mom, you can keep crying.
So the mom episode from Kira. Yeah,
absolutely. But the stuff that happens in the middle is that Maria asks to come to school. She performs for their music class. She is invited to do a talk show, like hour segment during the lunch hour on the school's PA system. It was going to be her and Hibiki, but then Oji-sama turns out he's into the older ladies, or he's a fan of Maria. I'm sorry, you asked me to stop tainting this show with my darkness, with my adult views, but he really likes her music. He looks up to her, so he ends up joining them for a trio session. And Hibiki's kind of like, hey, Kanade, what's your relationship with your mom? And Kanade says something that no human being would ever actually say, but is foreshadowing for later in the episode, which is, I think that even if everyone else in the world turned on me, she would still have my back. She would still be on my side. And lo and behold, what does Siren do in this episode? She turns into Hibiki. Again, Hammer turned into someone else. And she's like, I, Hibiki Hojo, am super evil. Everyone turn on me. She uses that and a little bit of mind control in the negatone to turn the town against Hibiki, like they're zombies. But then Hibiki's mom is all like, oh, I'm still on my daughter's side, which fulfills the prophecy as foretold in 2 Kanade 13. And she plays a song, and it gets the townsfolk to snap out of it, which allows the girls to transform and save the day. And the town rally around PreCure, and they're like, you can do it, PreCure. And I'm pretty sure that Maria knows that they're PreCure, because Kanade knew what the sorrow tone was, and she was unaffected by it, and also her daughter was implicated by the bad guy for who knows what reason. Hummy accidentally talks in front of her at one point, and she just kind of ignores it, but I'm pretty sure she knows.
Probably. I'm sure there'll be a scene close to the end where all the parents are like, you guys can't fight evil, you're like 5.
Maybe. Or maybe it'll be like Honoka's grandma from Futari Wa, where it's heavily implied that she knows more than she lets on, but she never actually uses that information in any way.
Oh my god, that never came to anything.
No, it didn't. And excuse me, on this podcast we say, oh my hummy. My Karurun.
I was going to say, where'd your Karurun robes go?
Hummy, Karurun, and Tart, the Holy Trinity. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ferret.
I'm gonna die.
Our dog co-host was peacefully sleeping on Kat's leg, but when she laughed like that, it startled her into wakefulness.
God, she's so cute. She could be a PreCure fairy easily. She could be a 100%. Hummy type. Oh, I'm very nervous she'd have a Peggy-tan kind of personality.
My name is Jupiter Wiggleton. That would be her fairy last name. So how did you like these episodes?
I liked them a lot.
Okay.
I am really enjoying Sweet. It seems to have kind of hit its groove. And I think...
Would you say it's the sweet spot?
I think that it does a better job than some of the other seasons we've seen of carrying plot threads for more than an episode. You know, in Kira, Ichika's mom showed up and we were all like, oh, this is going to be a big deal. Her mom travels for a living, so her coming back. But then she was there for an episode and left and was never mentioned again.
Star Twinkle, Hikaru's, or Hikaru's dad shows up, and he's gone after an episode, and I don't think we see much more of him after that. So.
Exactly. So a lot of the time in other seasons, stuff doesn't really come to anything, but like the Muse thing has gone on for quite a long time now, and Hibiki's mom and her thoughts on her mom, that actually has been going on for many episodes because we see Hibiki video chatting with her mom in previous episodes.
Absolutely.
So I really appreciate that Sweet seems to be a little bit less episodic and it takes its viewership a little more seriously. Like, you're capable of following a several episode plot. You can do it.
Absolutely. Oh, I meant to bring this up and it just slipped my mind. I didn't write it down on the scratch pad. In the episode where they went on the PA system to tell everyone, hey, if you're Muse, come meet us in the courtyard or whatever. Seika shows up, the president, I think, of the cooking club or the home ec club, and she's like, I'm not Muse, but is Muse a friend of yours? Are you looking for her? What's up? And they're like, yeah, she's a friend, but we don't really know who she is. And Seika says, oh, maybe she has a reason. So the reason that episode 16 doesn't involve the girls trying to discover Muse's identity is because at this point, they basically have realized that trust builds over time and that when the time is right, they will find out whatever Muse's story is. So that's an important detail that I assume will come up in the next batch of episodes we're watching, but I have no idea.
Absolutely. Did you like these episodes?
Yeah, I like them all right. Like, the one thing that I said, I don't think any human being would say, like, if suddenly the whole world turned against me. I thought that was weird phrasing, and maybe it's just the particular translation that we were reading. That seemed unnatural to me, but everything else was great. I love that Hibiki's mom is cheerful and pretty great, and is, a kind and caring mother, and maybe a little embarrassing for Hibiki, but, like, also sweet. I really liked it.
Absolutely. There's a scene when they're talking on the radio show, and Hibiki is so excited to hear what her mom has to say that she starts like violently rocking back and forth and vibrating in her chair.
She's bouncing in her chair.
I love it. Incredible. No neurotypical explanation for that.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite scene that I've seen of Hibiki so far, and I don't know what it is. I think it's the fact that they didn't have to animate her doing anything, and they don't bring attention to it. They don't have Hibiki's mom ask her if she's okay. It's just like this background detail while Ouji and Maria are talking about stuff. At one point, Ouji asks Hibiki if Hibiki is going to grow up and become a pianist, like her. Well, I mean, not really like her mom, but
a famous performer.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. And Hibiki kind of is embarrassed, right? She goes, "Oh, I don't know if I'm that good." And Maria's like, "No, I think anyone can pursue their dreams. I believe in you." And she's like, "Mom, you're embarrassing me." And the dad works at the school, so he's listening to this too, and he's just laughing, like, "That's my daughter and that's my wife. That's absolutely who they are." And I also really, really, really thought that Maria was going to think that Ouji and Hibiki would make a cute couple, and how funny would that be if Maria tried to, like, foist Ouji onto Hibiki. But that didn't happen, but, you could write a kind of humorous fanfic about that, I think.
Absolutely, I think so as well. Something that I brought up last episode was I had a theory on the monsters.
Oh, yeah.
And then I forgot to actually share it. So my theory is that the monsters are psychically piloted by the villains.
All right, hit me with the details that led you to this theory.
I'm getting there. So Siren is fighting and she keeps losing to the PreCure. And then Bass Drum attacks the PreCure and he goes, "I won't lose. I'm not as weak as Siren." But he's not physically fighting, so that's the only explanation that makes sense to me. And it also would explain why the villains don't always fight physically, because it takes a lot of brain power to mentally pilot a giant monster.
Okay, I like that. See, I'm not sure if I would use the term, like, psychically controlling, and I wouldn't say that it's, like, their mind power that they're using up, but I think you're onto something. I think that there's more malevolence in Bass Drum than there is in Siren, because, I mean, even we don't know if Bass Drum has or will have a backstory, but as far as we know, he's basically just an evil guy who was raised in evil mirror land where evil is good and good is evil, And Siren was kind of like tricked / mind controlled into becoming a bad guy. And so maybe he just has more malevolence in his heart, and that's what makes his negatone stronger. But maybe Siren is more cunning. I mean, she has like shape-shifting powers, and she uses that to drive a wedge between people, so maybe that's what her negatones have. They have like a certain, maybe flexibility or something. And so when they combine, you have the sheer power of bass drum, or bass drum, or last drum, whatever his name is, you know? And Siren gives it like some kind of like extra strategic ability.
Blank stare facial expression. Was that during the episode or during the mic test that you said I had to start narrating my facial expressions?
That was during the mic test. Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So now everybody knows we're all on the... Whoops, hit the mic. We're all on the same page.
Yes. Couple more notes. So at the beginning of the Freaky Friday episode, Hummy's like, why don't you two switch places? And neither of the girls are really into this. But then Hummy's able to play them like a fiddle, which is very appropriate for a musical-themed PreCure season. He looks at Kanade and he goes, hey.
She.
What?
Hummy's a girl.
I'm sorry. She looks at Kanade and goes, hey, you want to touch my toe beans, don't you? It would be a shame if you couldn't because we didn't switch places. And Kanade's like, oh, cat toe bean, yes, of course, I'll do it, Hummy. And Hibiki goes, yeah, I'm not going to fall for that. I don't care about toe beans or whatever. And Hummy goes, hey, do you want some cupcakes? I'll share with you. And Hibiki goes, yes, I want the cupcakes. Oh, Hummy, you were so good. I loved that scene so much. It was cute.
It was so cute. I love Hummy. She seems like an airhead, but she's got some shrewdness to her.
She's just overly optimistic, I think, is the reason why she comes across as being such an idiot. I guess she is an airhead, though. She didn't notice that one of the fairy tones was missing and hadn't been with her the entire season. But I do like that she is emotionally intelligent, at least.
Absolutely.
I also think that Siren, if she does turn to good, and I mean, she's being mind controlled. There's no way to fix that plot line, like that problem, without overcoming the mind control, I don't think. But I think that what she's going to learn is that the more she tries to tear relationships apart, the stronger those relationships are. She has now seen the bonds of friendship between Kanade and Hibiki. She's now seen how passionate Hibiki's dad is about music in the episode where he stood up to the negatone like the Chad he is. He saw Maria being like, I believe in my daughter no matter what. Even if my daughter comes up to me and says, Mom, I'm evil, I'm going to be like, no, you're just going through a phase, honey. Just stop shopping at Hot Topic, and you'll go back to the little girl I remember.
God, imagine Hibiki crouching there with a knife. It's not a phase, Mom. Stabby, stab, stab.
But I think that's ultimately going to be the thing that helps Siren realize that maybe she's fighting for the wrong team, is that one team tries to destroy relationships and the other one tries to cherish the ones that we have.
Absolutely.
Pretty cool.
That's beautiful.
I have one discussion question I want to bring up, and I kind of alluded to this, well, not really. It's related to the mind canon that I had that Maria was going to try to set up Hibiki and Ouji for a date. It seems like Ouji kind of radiates this energy where, like, all the boys and girls of the school are head over heels for him. The boys don't really seem like a romantic interest, but they do really appreciate having him around. They're like, we want to throw you the best birthday party, man. We love you, that kind of thing.
Bros.
Yeah, exactly. And the girls are like, oh my God, I want to give him a little kiss. And so Hibiki is completely immune, it seems like. And in fact, in one of these episodes, she does a fourth wall break where she's like, I don't get it, while everyone else is fawning over him.
Oh my gosh, he's little Sebastian and she's Ben.
Yes, that's amazing. But here's my kind of semi-headcanon, and I am the kind of weirdo who might put a little bit more inclusion into the subtext than there actually was intended to be. But I, at this point, would not mind casting Hibiki in my mind as aromantic, because she just seems completely uninterested. It's not like he's cute, but he's not my type. It's just, I don't care.
The thing with headcanons like this is I never feel like being like, no, you're wrong. Because A, I think that you can interpret evidence in all sorts of ways. But B, it really doesn't matter. You know, it's a headcanon. Those are supposed to be fun, and people can headcanon whatever they want. These characters, in a lot of ways, are meant to allow you to project yourself onto them. So I see where you're coming from. I wonder if because Hibiki has been portrayed as a woman who takes her responsibilities very seriously, and she's trying to prove that she's mature, that maybe she just doesn't have time for that, and she puts romantic feelings to the side so she can focus on important things.
See, I get that counter argument, but what seems incongruous to me is that Kanade seems like the type who would more have responsibilities because she actually works part-time at her parents' shop or whatever, but I could see that as well. I guess the final question for this theory / headcanon, we have, another 30 episodes of the series left to go. Do you think we will get an episode where Hibiki shows interest in anyone like that? Like, do you think we will have a one-off male character who transfers into the school and she's kind of like, oh, he's cute?
Nah.
Yeah, okay.
No, I think that Kanade is the boy crazy half of the duo. Right? Because, odd couple shows like this are always based on one of them having one exaggerated trait and the other one being like, that trait sure is exaggerated. And so I think that it works better to have Kanade be like, this boy is handsome, and Hibiki be like, don't we have better things to do?
Okay, the only way I could see that being flipped on its head is if Hibiki falls for someone that Kanade is just absolutely maybe repulsed by or just uninterested in. Hibiki, gross, no.
It's weird too, because we were watching these episodes and I can't remember what the scene was, but she was imagining Wan as Cure Muse, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But I was like, there's no straight explanation for this. And you were like, well, I think I could headcanon her as aromantic. So yeah, she could be aromantic, but girls, girl-oriented. Whereas Kanade, if you had to headcanon anything for her, she's a disaster bi.
All right.
Are Absolutely. There non-disaster bis? Yes, Ouji-sama. He's a got it all together bi.
He's a head empty pan boy, is what he is. He's just kind of like, anything wants to hold my hand? Sure, yeah, cool, why not?
Exactly. If I don't hold your hand, you might be in emotional distress, so please take my hand.
Absolutely. So that about wraps it up. Before we go to the one quick sweet soundbite that we got, Kat, how many episodes would you like to pledge to watch for next week?
I think 4 is a reasonable number.
Okay, we'll do 4 again. So that will be episodes 18, 19, 20, and 21. So
unless, by some miracle, Delicious Party comes back next week, in which case we'll cover Delicious Party, 2 of Sweet, and then Max Heart.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We'll go back to the regular cadence. But as far as I know, they haven't officially announced when the next episode of Delicious Party is coming up. I think that they said, at least until early April. So we'll see. We'll post to the Discord and Twitter if plans change. But for now, that's our plan. The only really quick thought that we got was that one welder guy pointing out Hummy and Siren just casually play with the other cats and are enemies everywhere else, which came to the headcanon, maybe it's a neutral zone. And then I said, what if they have the neutral zone idea, or they also set aside Christmas. The week before Christmas up until Christmas, they also are friends and they get each other gifts. You know?
It's World War II rules.
Absolutely. Oh, shoot! Crap! No! One more thought. Sorry. Hibiki finally realized that when Siren transforms into someone, she has the little collar on. Not collar, it's like a tag. That doesn't change. And might actually be the artifact that allows her to shapeshift. We don't know. But the episode where Siren pretended to be both Kanade and Maria, Hibiki's mom, at the when she realized that there were 2 Marias, she flashes and she remembers, Kanade was wearing that tag. My mom was wearing that tag. Siren wears that tag. It's all connected. So I swear to gosh, if we have an episode down the line where Hibiki is tricked by Siren transforming again, and we're not given any kind of indication that Siren is trying to hide the tag, I'm going to be very upset.
Very upset. I'm going to send us out on a crack theory here.
Oh, okay.
The obvious next evolution for Siren's abilities is for her to learn the Shadow Clone Jutsu.
Oh.
So, not only will she transform into Hibiki and start taunting Kanade, but she will make many clones of Hibiki, and they will all circle Kanade.
And Kanade will go, oh god, it's the dream again! So I go,
And they'll all yell, clown, clown, clown! And that has been your
doop, boop, 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 final thought!
outro goes here!
Thanks for joining us, everyone, and have a great day. Also, Hummy is... Pass it on. That's the rumor. That's why she's always happy.
No spoilers. Thank you all for joining us for another delicious plateful of
Cure of the What Now?
Please take a moment to rate and review wherever you get your podcasts from.
Or if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to leave a comment, a like, or lick that subscribe bell so you know when the new episodes are going up.
Did you just say lick it?
Well, yeah, we're baking delicious foods. It's a delicious party.
Anyway, you can find me on Twitter at PirateGhostHost. Please don't lick me.
Can you even lick a ghost? I'm on Twitter at Kotwin_pod.
KOTWN_pod.
Absolutely. And as always, the Discord link is in the Twitter bio and also in the YouTube description.
Come join us for weekly discussions, streams, and all of the PreCure your heart can handle. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yum. Or no, I'm full.